So I just thought it'd be nice to get everyone on the same page because typically when people hear the term insider threat, they often think of a malicious employee stealing company data. And while that's absolutely falls under the umbrella, we actually find that it comes in a few different forms, typically three main ones, and that is malicious, compromised, and accidental. Obviously, kind of the biggest, most well-known, and perhaps the scariest is the malicious insider threats. Obviously, someone working from within the organization who has access. This could be an employee or perhaps even a freelancer or contractor who is intentionally abusing their access. More often than not, this is happening before they're off board from the company. We also have compromised accounts, which can be an insider threat. This is where an attacker gains access to a legitimate employee account. Obviously, as you all know, which is why security awareness is usually important. So your employees are able to not only recognize, but also respond to when these situations occur. And last, but certainly not least, is often well-intentioned employees taking actions that they don't realize maybe are creating a security vulnerability within an organization, but often have maybe bad hygiene practices that expand the surface area for security risk. And I think the important thing to note when talking about insider threats is, at least from a security perspective, it's often not intent that matters as much as it is outcome. So whether that behavior was malicious or compromised or even accidental, the result is usually the same, and that's sensitive data leaving an organization. And the reason this tends to matter is, from what we're seeing, this isn't necessarily an edge case anymore. The research shows that 77% of organizations have experienced some sort of insider data-driven loss within the last year and a half. So that means usually the challenge isn't whether suspicious activity or behavior is happening within your org, it's if you'll notice before the actual damage has really been done. Of course, most orgs do have visibility and into an enormous amount of activity just from Microsoft 365 alone. So the problem here isn't necessarily the lack of data, it's identifying which events actually matter. And if you're lucky enough to identify those insider threat events, it on average takes 67 days to contain it once identified. Luke, did you have anything you wanted to add here?
Yeah, so one thing that really surprises me about this 67-day statistic is if your information's been out there floating around for 67 days, that information's gone, the damage is done. So obviously it's better to contain it than to not do anything. But I'm always surprised when I talk to people and they say, oh, we have something in place, we can probably detect something within a month or 2 or 3 months, because my opinion here is you need something that can detect this within minutes, within hours, or at least within 24 hours. So I think this statistic is really surprising in the sense that those who do still take that long to detect it.
Yeah, that's a really good point.